I'm not hearing anybody. Good morning. Okay. Let us mark this day, you and I, us, the people gathered here today in this place, at this time, in this very moment, where the children have gathered full of words and song, where the people have gathered full of love and joy, where the air is charged with admiration for you, Melvin King, son of the South End, child of the New York streets, where children were loved by all the adults and all the adults minded the children. Those streets loved you. Seneca and Florence, all have now disappeared, but you remain, Mel King. Son of a beautiful couple from the West Indies, your father a union man who helped and then helped some more, your mother resourceful and creative. They shared what they had, and they always kept an open door. You felt valued and loved, a member of the Church of all nations, and that's how you grew into a man who fights for people of all nations, father of 6, husband of Joyce, Joyce the quietly magnificent, Melvin King, leader of many, friends to even more, teacher of truth, craftsman of the Rainbow Coalition, blacksmith of the chain of change. We've come together on this occasion, your 89th birthday, to say thank you. So let us proceed and let us mark this day. Good morning. My name is Karima Scott. I am the Family and Community Engagement Coordinator, and it is my great pleasure to introduce to you Mayor Martin Walsh with the opening remarks.
Thank you very much, Ms. Scott. I appreciate that. I want to thank the headmaster Saunders as well for allowing us here. The young people at the McKinley, thank you very much for the great welcome you gave me, but also thank you for what you do in our city. I want to congratulate today's scholarship winners and everyone who worked on the incredible mural. I want to recognize the chief of the Boston Public Schools, Robbie Gonsalvo. Thank you, Robbie, chief of staff over there, doing some good things. I also want to recognize former mayor and ambassador Ray Flynn is here with us. Thank you, Mayor Flynn, for being with us. Mel and Ray are amazing because they're still working on issues around peace and violence in our city. They've never stopped doing that. You know, at a time when they ran against each other for mayor, actually, what people thought it would tear the city apart, actually, in some ways brought us together. And I want to thank you both for all that you've done in your career, so thank you. I'm honored to be here to wish my dear friend a happy 89th birthday, Mel King. As Mayor Flynn did and Mel did, they served in the House of Representatives, and that's a body that I started my political career in. And I'm grateful for that because when you're a state rep, there's a bond that you build, and a bond with even if you don't serve with somebody, there's a bond there, and I'm honored to have that bond with Mel King. I'm also honored to have Mel King's support and guidance over the last 4 years as mayor of Boston. He will often call me and leave a message. And that message will be a message about something that we need to do in the city of Boston or something that we haven't done accurately in the city of Boston, or call me to thank me. I enjoy those phone calls. I enjoy that mentorship. Nobody in the city, I don't think, has lifted our city up more than Mel King has. Where do we start with Mel King? For the young people here, I think you should know the history of Mel King. Mel King was a youth worker. Mel King was an organizer. Mel King was an elected official. Mel King is an author. Mel King is an artist. Mel King is a teacher. Mel King is a change maker. And he's always been here in the South End. What he does today is all for you. When I talk to him, anytime we talk to him, we talk to the kids. It's for the kids. It's for the kids. He wants to make a difference in people's lives. He wants to create a city where it's great for you. He is a leader. Some leaders have long-term vision on what they want to accomplish. Some just want to get things done today. Mel wants both. He thinks about laying down the foundation, but he also is doing something today. This man was born before TV was invented, but he's the one that brought the Fab Labs to the Boston Public Schools. He understands the power of technology. I see his son clap. We should clap for that because, you know, I'm gonna ask you for a favor. The guy in front of me with the jacket, you move a little bit left because I want to get Mel. Just want to get. That's about having a vision and building a vision. What a vision looks like. Mel has always been about empowering the community with the resources that people need. Whether the resource is knowledge, whether the resource is political power, or whether the resource is technology. Mel identifies the needs and goes to work to secure it for the different communities. As I look around the room here, I see a lot of people in this room that have been in the battle with Mel. And you know what he's done for the community. We're talking a lot these days about future, what the future's going to look like. Boston's becoming a global, you got to move that way. Boston's becoming a global technology leader. And we are continuing to move that. We want to make sure that all of our young people have the resources and the skills they need to be successful. And that's what you do, Mel, every single day. That's what Mel's been doing this work at the South End Technology Center and here at the McKinley School in the South End Academy, teaching the STEM skills, integrating the A for arts into a STEAM education to join the skills of imagination and vision, making sure that our young people use what they have inside of them. Mel was working on this Fab Lab before most people knew what a Fab Lab was. We have a master plan called Imagine Boston 2030. It's nearly 500 pages on how we can be a city for all of us. We could have written a whole chapter saying, do what Mel does. Mel, you have inspired and improved our city for 89 years. You have mentored countless number of young people who are now leaders in our city. I want to thank you for that. When we look at these young people, we know the city will continue to be inspired by you. And I want to thank you. And I have something that you probably don't have, Mel, is a proclamation from the mayor's office. And they're very difficult to get, and I'm going to bring it over to you. The certificate of recognition. Mel King probably has like 3,000 of these, by the way. Presented to Mel King in honor of your 89th birthday, in appreciation of your outstanding dedication to the community and your commitment to creating opportunities for every single person for his or her highest potential. On behalf of the City of Boston and the nearly 700,000 residents of the City of Boston, we want to wish you a happy birthday, my friend.
I'd now like to ask Mr. Ron Consalvo from the Boston Public Schools, Chief of Staff of Dr. Tommy Chang, who couldn't join us today. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rob Consalvo, and I have the honor of being the Chief of Staff to Superintendent Tommy Chang and the proud privilege of working for our great mayor, Mayor Marty Walsh. I want to apologize first that Dr. Chang couldn't be here today. Dr. Chang is currently at a conference in Cleveland with superintendents from all around the country who are examining best practices around our educational system. So he sent us very deep regrets that he couldn't be here. But I am so honored to be here to say happy birthday to Mel King and to honor Mel King for all the work that he has done for our city. The Boston Public Schools are a better place today because of Mel King. Mel has been invested for years in the Boston Public Schools, and particularly here at the McKinley, where he brought technology to this school when students otherwise might not have had that opportunity. We're so grateful for Mel for everything that he's done, and we really want to wish him a very happy birthday. Mel is what we call a civic giant in this city. He has spanned generations that have touched lives all across those generations. My father, Bob Consalvo, who was Chief of Staff for Mayor Flynn, had the honor of working with Mel King 30 years ago on issues in our city, and now I have the honor as well to work with Mel on issues in Boston. So he has touched lives across all generations. And I know the mayor pointed out many things that Mel has done. I don't know if folks also realize he's one heck of a tennis player. And I have sat on the court next to Mel many times when he smashed that ball at the Reggie Lewis Center as we play tennis together. So a great tennis player as well. But I want to just say, in thanking Mel, it reminds me of an old saying we have. The saying says that praise and thanks, like diamonds and gold, owes its worth to scarcity. Because too often we don't say thank you or praise the people who truly deserve our thanks and praise. I think everyone in this room knows that Mel King deserves all of our thanks and all of our praise. And we thank you, Mel, from the bottom of our hearts for all you have done for the Boston Public Schools, for the city of Boston, and all the residents of our city. Happy birthday and thank you.
We now have Assistant Program Director Catherine Clark speaking on behalf of Senator Elizabeth Warren.
Dear Melvin, I would like to offer my congratulations on your 89th birthday. As you enjoy this truly special day, keep in mind these wise words from Lucille Ball. The secret of staying young is to live honestly, eat slowly, and lie about your age. Once again, please accept my warmest greetings on this wonderful occasion. I encourage you to cherish this time with your friends and family. I wish you many, many more years of health and happiness as you enjoy this special day. Sincerely, Elizabeth Warner, United States Senator.
So before we start the program, I just want to acknowledge some very important people in the room. Please forgive me if I forget you. It's an oversight. It's not the intentions of my heart. So Ms. Valicia Saunders, headmaster of McKinley Schools, is here in the first row sitting next to the mayor. Former Mayor Raymond Flynn is here. Former Representative Sandra Graham. I'm going to mess up the last names, but I saw the gentleman walk in. The founder of A Nubian Notion, Mr. Abdul Kalak. I'm messing that up. There he is, though. Nubian Notion founder. The Honorable Leslie Harris, retired judge. The founder of Haley House sends her regards. She's in Ireland, but she really wanted to be here. And last but not least, the King family, which is center and to the right. Thank you all for being here. It is my pleasure to now turn the mic back over to Ms. Clark.
I'd just like to say a couple of things really quick. One is that there is someone who is not here today, but I believe deserves quite a bit of recognition and appreciation. She is a woman who lives in the community who I had an opportunity to meet about 2 years ago, who is what I would consider to be a quiet giver. She's always behind the scenes. She's an amazing woman. She does a lot for the community in which she lives in and in other parts of the community as well. Although she's in here today, I will make sure that I give her, that I truly want to give her, is one of the brigade shirts to let her know that without the generosity that she has given us, programs like this wouldn't exist. So she's an amazing woman. I will just let you know her name is Maura, and one day you will meet her. So thank you. And now it's with great pleasure that I have the opportunity to introduce this amazing man whose commitment and dedication to our students is profound. He had a vision, and he brought it to life, and you will have the opportunity to watch it unfold before your eyes. Again, I am honored to mention and introduce to you Michael Scott, the president of the Scholars Brigade.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, Mr. and Mrs. Mel King. Good morning, scholars. Good morning, sir. Break. Sir. Respect. Us. At ease. Yes, sir. I want you guys to know that the Scholars Brigade is spelled with the possessive S. And while I stand here, I just stand in the front as a shield for these kings and queens. Us? Us. I want you guys to know that I'm so proud of you. Us? Us. I want you to know that this whole crowd is here, proud of you. Us? Us. Men like Melvin H. King have given the entirety of their lives to you. Us? Us. So don't be nervous. Give yourselves break. Sir. Give yourselves respect. Us. At ease. Yes, sir. Before I get started, I want to say that also the parents, John, Lisa, Myrna, the parents are really who give us this gift of these young people. Can we please have a round of applause? Mr. King, without having known your parents, I can see them reflect through you. Us? Us. Black is to absorb? You are golden, Mr. King. Thank you so much, sir. You are an influence. Let's give it up to Mr. King. I'm not going to take too much time. I want to hand it over to two young ladies who put me to task when we started this work. Very much influenced by my brother, Doncor Esau. Where you at, Doncor? Is he good? Doncor. Yeah, very much influenced by you, brother. When we started this work, it was for young men and women, young men of color, black and brown boys. And a lot of you scholars put me on notice and say, we all need the same love. Us? Us. We all need the same education. Us? Us. And that forges us so we can be a part of your chain of change. So two links who put me to task to say, we want to be young women, black and white, part of this brigade, is my sister Francesca Salamanca and my sister Nadeja Soto Baker Sudo, excuse me. She get it right. I'm
sorry. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, scholars. We thank Mr. Mel King and his wife, Miss Joyce King, for sharing this special day with us. We are honored by their presence and we hold them dear in our hearts. We will not take too much time, but we feel it is important that we thank you, Mr. King, for all of your hard work and dedication as a hero of the people. We realize that a hero is a mortal man or woman who is aware of the dangers involved yet acts to save those in need. He does not abuse his power, but uses it to assist perfect strangers. If nothing else, a hero is one whose integrity stands the test of time. It is difficult to imagine a person more deserving of honoring than Melvin H. King, a person for whom the title of a hero is not an exaggeration. A child of immigrants, Mr. King was born and raised in the South End and educated in Boston Public Schools. He later rose to serve in the Massachusetts legislature. One of his amazing achievements was to lead protests that led to the buildings of Tent City apartments for low-income people in the South End just blocks from here. Mr. King, you have shown us that in order to effect change, we must organize with like minds. We must develop a generation that understands the value of community, education, and responsibility. You once said, "We saw development in human terms. What I hear people talking about now is in a brick and mortar term. Development must be about people." Us?
Mel King has recognized the power that people gain through developing their skills and has established the South End Technology Center to provide free computer training for low-income people. Mr. King went a step further and reached out to the McKinley Schools, creating a partnership that brought the BPS its first Fab Lab. The brief description can never do him justice, nor have we spoken of his historic mayoral race in which he was the first African American to run in a final election bid for mayor. We could go on about his many accomplishments. Instead, we would simply like to say thank you, sir. In order to recognize the heroic greatness of your works, the McKinley School has created this amazing mural as to honor and recognize the enormous contributions that Mr. King made to the people of the city of Boston. You are truly incomparable exemplar of a hero. Your love has caused a chain reaction of change. We are links in that chain of change. Your example has served to inspire a new generation who will someday become heroes in our own right. Thank you again, Mr. King, and happy birthday. Us? Long live our hero and champion, the Honorable Mel Hughes King. Break. Respect. At ease. We will now hear a reading of Declaration of Scholarship by Jaleesa Jackson.
Good morning, guests. Good morning, scholars. I'll go. Break. Respect. At ease. I am a scholar, learning the skills necessary to build, maintain, and progress my community and myself. I am prepared to put my best efforts towards these goals. I will never surrender to the forces of negativity. I will resist these forces and encourage my comrades to do likewise. If I should falter and find myself in negative circumstance, I will persevere knowing that all experiences are lessons to a scholar. I will be faithful to my responsibility as a scholar, learning from the lessons that life hands me. I will show respect and fulfill the responsibilities that I owe towards my community and myself. I will keep myself and those around me safe by making wise choices. I will show kindness and respect to who I encounter in order to demonstrate my own values and self-worth. I will use my knowledge as the primary means to gain control over myself as well as my life. I will rise to meet my full potential. Us. We will now hear the Declaration of the Elders read by Scholars Brigade, Vice President, Mr. Walsh.
Good morning, guests. Good morning, scholars. Good morning, good morning to the King family. Good morning to our honored guest, Mel King. I have Jamel here who's going to hold the sign up. I'm going to read the Declaration of the Elders. Come a little bit closer. There you go. Right there. All right. I'm a person who intends to help the younger generation reach their full potential. I will not underestimate the potential of the young people who I serve. I respect them and call on them to respect me. I will be respectable. I will both teach them and learn from them. I will work to the best of my abilities at whatever I apply myself to. I will work in the spirit of unity with my colleagues and my community. I will hold myself accountable. I will take initiative. Thank you. Next up, we have Jabari Martin, excuse me, reading a Langston Hughes poem.
Good morning, Mel King. Good morning, Kings, and good morning, our guests. And good morning, scholars.
Good morning, sir.
As I grew older by Langston Hughes, it was a long time ago. I have almost forgotten my dream, but it was there then, in front of me, bright like the sun, my dream. And then the wall rose slowly, between me and my dream, rose until it touched the sky, the wall shadow, I am black. I lie down in the shadow, no longer the light of my dream, before me, above me, only the thick wall, only the shadow, my hands, my dark hands. Break through the wall, find my dream, help me to shatter this darkness, to smash this night, to break this shadow into 1,000 lights of sun, into 1,000 whirling dreams of sun.
Us?
Break! Respect! At ease! Now we will hear from President Mr. Scott.
We realize that a hero is a mortal man or woman who is aware of the dangers yet acts to save others in need. He does not abuse his power but uses it to assist perfect strangers. If nothing else, a hero is one whose integrity stands the test of time. Nothing embodies this like the defiance of Africans who risked life and limb for one another to save one another from bondage. This poem by Jean Toomer reflects this heroism. It's called Song of the Sun, but we adapted it. We call it Song of the Sons and Daughters. Us? Pour, oh pour, that parting soul in song. Oh, pour it in the sawdust glow of night, into the velvet pine smoke air tonight, and let the valley carry it along. Oh, land and soil, red soil and sweet gum tree, so scant of grass, so profligate of pines, now just as an epoch's suns decline, thy sons, thy daughters, in time I have returned to thee. Thy daughters, thy son, I have in time returned to thee. In time. For though the sun is setting on a song-lit race of slaves, it has not set. Though late, O soil, it is not too late yet to catch thy plaintive soul, leaving soon gone, leaving to catch thy plaintive soul soon gone. O Negro slaves, dark purple ripened plums, squeezed and bursting in the pine wood air, passing before they stripped the old tree bare, one plum was saved for me. One seed becomes an everlasting song, a singing tree, caroling softly, souls of slavery, what they were and what they are to me, caroling softly, souls of slavery. Break. Respect. At ease. I would ask the whole brigade to come into formation right now, into your lines. Ron is going to speak, but we're going to stand up here with Ron, and we're going to give credit to this brother. Us? Captains, help people get to where they are. Elders. I want to say that we've overcome a lot to get here. Us? Some of these young people, inspired by you, Mr. King, have overcome great anxiety, great social anxiety and nervousness. But it's important that we honor kings, us? And it's important that we say thank you to people to their faces, us? We do not need permission to say thank you, to create our own holidays and to honor our own heroes, us? And Ron is a hero because he's overcome a lot to get up here. Let's give it up to this guy.
As a kid, I was negative, angry, and I was looked at as the troubled kid in my family. I would sit at home and watch cartoons. I would see men in capes and costumes rescue people and save them. Where was my hero? Where was my saving? Where was my hero? I eventually did find them. They weren't on Cartoon Network or on my TV. At one point, I had a particularly hard time, and I ended up studying and reading. The heroes that saved me were real men and women that paved the way to become the young man that I am today. Real men and women, and that were trailblazers that made me feel I could be anyone. Real men and women that are heroes. They are heroes among us.
took a lot for them. They were so serious for you guys. Well done. Well done.
Let's give another round of applause for our scholars. So at this time, I'm going to open the mic to a few people who want to share some reflections or to offer their well wishes to Mr. King. And the first of these will be Headmaster Valicia Saunders, followed by former Representative Sandra Graham, former Mayor Ray Flynn, Jovita Fontanes, I hope I said that right, that's a very close friend of the King family, and Dr. Carolyn Crockett from Boston Public Schools. Or the city of Boston, I believe she works for. I'm sorry, correction. So the first of these will be Valicia Saunders, headmaster of McKinley Schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Scott. Good morning, everyone. So first and foremost, I want to say that I am honored to be able to stand before all of you to reflect upon my and our school community's relationship with Mr. Mel Hughes King, and to be able to give him our well wishes on his 89th birthday. This is an incredible day, because a life of heroism is what we are celebrating. It's important to say that this thoughtful gesture was conceived and organized by the Scholars Brigade scholars and staff who would love volunteered their talents and time to honor Mel Hughes King. Mr. King has helped inspire McKinley students to see heroes within themselves. As I reflect upon my relationship and our partnership with Mr. King, several words come to mind. The first word is inspirational. Mr. King has inspired me to continuously advocate for access for all McKinley students. His tenacity over the years to ensure that our school community, our McKinley students, have access to technology, which has inspired our students to think outside of the box in regards to the possibilities of their future. The second word is passionate. Mr. King's passion is transparent in everything that he does, particularly in serving and providing opportunities for his community. He has been an advocate for others for many, many years. It's this contagious compassion that fuels my moral imperative to serve every student that comes through our doors, with compassion and the expectation that they will be academically successful and productive citizens in their communities. And the last word that comes to mind is dedication. Mr. King's dedication to McKinley Schools has been consistent and infallible. From advocating for our students' access to technology, resulting in the installation of both a fabrication lab and a computer lab, to speaking to the school committee and the mayor to advocate and ensure that we remain in this building and it's not refurbished for another school community. Mr. King's dedication, passion, continues to be inspirational to all of us and anyone who has had the pleasure of just merely being in his presence. Words cannot express how much I admire and aspire to be like this incredible man. For me, our Scholars Brigade, and our school community as a whole, you, Mr. King, epitomize our definition of a living hero. So in wishing for your service, and most importantly your birthday, I will leave you with this poem. Wishing you a happy day, one that brings you smiles all along the way and leaves you feeling good inside. For this is what I pray. 'Cause someone as special as you deserves life's every luxury, for all the love and joy you bring to grateful people like me. May each day be blessed with all sorts of wonderful things, like the comfort of love and the joy of hope, and the warmth that having a good friend brings. May your tomorrows be carefree, free from worries and fears. May each moment be magical, lasting through the years. May this day find you well as you cross our mind, and may you know that you're an important person in our lives. Happy birthday, Mr. King. I and my entire school community are honored and believe that we are better having had the opportunity to be blessed with your presence. Thank you.
Sandra Graham.
Hello, Mel. How are you? Happy birthday. I just want to tell you a little side of Mel that I know. Mel was about 22 years old when he came to the Cambridge Community Center. I live in Cambridge. He came to the Cambridge Community Center. He was our counselor at the community center. And, you know, he just thought he had it all, you know, telling us what to do and everything. But let me tell you, when it was time to close that center down, he had to find us. He had to look in the girls' bathroom, everywhere in the center, because we wasn't leaving. We gave Mel a fit, but he loved it, and he worked with us. And that was my first introduction to Mel. And then one day, I walked into the State House. I had been elected state representative at that time. And my first day in the State House, Mel looked at me and said, "Oh my God." Here she is. But anyways, we had a good time in the State House. We did a lot of good things in the State House. Mel was our leader. We took the direction from Mel. We enacted many pieces of legislation. The Community Development Corporation, which gave money to minority businesses to start their business, the death penalty, affirmative action, abortion, you name it. We were there, and we spoke on the floor of the House. We instituted the Black Policy Institute at UMass Boston. But one day, Mel went away, and I think he was in Cuba at the time. And one of his colleagues happened to take the money from the Roxbury District Court. I don't know who called Mel and told Mel, but before we knew it, Mel was back in the State House. And Doris and I were sitting there and we was talking, and Mel was going to see the Speaker. The Speaker of the House was Tommy McGee at the time. So we walked with him to the Speaker's office. And lo and behold, Mel smashed the gate open, walked into the Speaker's office without being announced, and said, "Who took my money out of the Roxbury District Court? Put it back." And the Speaker kind of was surprised. So he said, "Well, I didn't do it." He said, "This person did it." So Mel turns around and he's walking, you know, he got long legs. Doris and I are 4'11", and our legs are short. He's going down the hallway, and we're saying, Mel, wait up. So we go into the person's office who took the money out of the budget, and he said, "Put my money back." He said, "I don't touch your South Boston courthouse. You don't touch my Roxbury courthouse." And let me tell you, that colleague got up out of the chair. I thought he was going to have a heart attack. Mel leaned across. I thought he was going to grab the guy, but he just leaned across the desk and told him, "You don't play with my Roxbury District Court." And that money went back into the budget. Those are some of the fights that we had. And Mel was right there, no matter what. And I believe one day I ran into Louise Day Hicks, I don't know if you know Louise Day Hicks. She was a congressman from South Boston. And she told me that Mel was Moses and Doris and I was his disciplines. We just looked at her like she was crazy. But anyways, Mel had big stature. Not only was he tall, he had stature. People loved him. They believed in him. We worked with him. And we worked against liberals in the State House. We thought they were liberals, but come to find out they weren't liberals. But anyways, Mel was there, and I am so appreciative of him being there at the time I was there, because he taught me a lot. He taught me how to deal with some of the stuff that goes on behind closed doors. And believe me, it all goes on behind closed doors. When it comes out into the light, you gotta fight it. But he was always there, and he always voted on the right side of the issue. So I just want to thank Mel for all his years of serving his community, and he loves Boston, and he loves the South End. We couldn't get him out of the South End if we tried. But he loved Boston, and he fought for Boston. And in return, you kids need to understand you have to look backwards in order to go forward, because you will see in the back what people have built for you, and you just add on to it and go further. So Mel, I love you, and happy birthday, and may you have many more. Thank you.
Mr. Flynn.
Hello, everybody. It's really, it really is a pleasure to be with all of you, and as we pay tribute to one of Boston's, one of the most renowned, memorable figures. I didn't use the word political figures, but inspirational figures, and that's Mel King and his family. You know, historians remember election results very clearly, and a lot of people in universities and college can tell you the percentage of elections and who won them and so forth. But I just want the young people to know, in this place here today, this is where Mel King and I used to play basketball here at English High School together in the South End, South Boston Boys Club. And Mel King and I served together in the legislature, as Mayor Walsh said. But the election that I'm referring to was, the campaign was far more significant than the election results itself. It's kind of hard to understand. But what happened was, that was a defining campaign. In the most troubled time of Boston's history, which brought the city together like no legislation, administration, or politician could ever do. I said to Mel King after the election of 1983, I didn't win that election. Mel King didn't lose the election. The people of Boston won that election. They won that election because it was the most spirited campaign. But think about it, the largest voter turnout in modern Boston history, and it brought the city together. The busing, all the divisions that had taken place in the past, people felt that everybody's voice was heard, everybody's voice was respected. That's what Mel King did, my friends, in 1983. So when these historians are looking at the election results, Think of this man, more so than anybody in my lifetime, helped bring this city together. And I was so proud to be part of that, to that uniting of Boston. People for the first time could walk down the streets. People from South Boston, South End, we were one city again. Not perfect, of course. There'll always be troubles in any city. But people like Mel King helped more than anybody to bring that city together. One last point. Representative Graham was talking about legislation. Well, Mel King and I were in the legislature together. He was on the Education Committee. We introduced legislation that was for special needs children. At the time, special needs children couldn't go to school in Boston. I had to take my nephew and his family down to Situate to go to school. We introduced legislation. It was called Special Education Chapter 766. And it required that all the cities and towns in Massachusetts had to provide public education for handicapped and special needs children. First time ever in the history of Massachusetts. Legislation passed. Dave Bartley was the speaker. Mike Daly was the chairman of the Education Committee. Well, the other day or a week ago, I got an invitation to this event. You see the invitation has a picture of Mel King on it. My grandson is over here. You probably hear him. His name is Braden. Braden saw the invitation, and he doesn't speak that much, but he points it to the invitation and he says, "Me," which means that he knows this man and he likes this man. That's his way of expressing himself. The reason why, because we go over to Mel's place of business and we hang around there and we talk to Mel all the time. Well, Braden is here with me today. He's a special needs child. He can go to school in any one of the 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts because of the Massachusetts legislature and the governor passing Chapter 766. That's part of the influence and the role that Mel King had in Massachusetts. Mel, happy birthday. You're a credit to this Commonwealth and to this city.
Miss Jovita and Dr. Crockett.
And you did all right with my name. Not a problem. Buenas tardes. Good afternoon. I'm Jovita. I live across the street from the school. I grew up in the South End. I came here from what many of us call Manhattan, Puerto Rico. So as a child, I attended 48 Rutland Street, the settlement house, improved my English, learned how to negotiate the system, and it's really Mel who made a difference in my life. I was raised in a very strict Latina Puerto Rican family. There were three places I could go. One was the South End Library, the other one was 48 Rutland Street, and the Art Center. And because of Mel, I met a wonderful woman named Gladys Gusson, who made such a difference in my being able to realize that there was a whole world out there. I was one of the first Latinas to go to Camp Winning Farm from USCS, from 48 Rutland Street, not even USCS in those days. So Mel, I just want to thank you. My English has got better, obviously, and although a teacher made me sit on my hands, thinking that that would help me learn English and to stop talking with my hands. I did learn English, but I still talk with my hands. Felicidades, feliz cumpleaños, te quiero mucho. I love you much. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is an incredible, incredible room. Can you just look around this room and feel the power and feel the beauty and the strength in this room? Let's give it up for this entire room. So Mel would say that the village is here. The village is assembled. My name is Carolyn Crockett. I come to you as a friend of the King family, as a resident, former resident of this neighborhood, as a worker in City Hall, as a person that has the privilege of thinking about every single day, how does this city have the opportunity to live into its promise? How does this city get to be all that we know we can be? Mel King's life shows all of us that this is a long-distance race. It is not a sprint. We are here today celebrating 89 years of life. So to say happy birthday is appropriate, but is not enough. Right? We'll say happy birthday, but Mel's message to us is that this is not a sprint, it is a long-distance race. There's much work to do, and we are just beginning. I'll share a quick word. This time last year, Mel started to think a little bit more about what it might be to slow down. Maybe he was saying, about 88 years old, he said, you know, maybe I've been doing all this work at the tech center and I love it, but maybe, you know, start to think about something else. And I said, so Mel, are you tired? Do you feel like you want to sit down? Do you want to take a break? Do you want to rest? And he said, what? No, I have some other things I want to do. And I said, other things that you want to do like what? And then he had a whole list of things. So this is a wish that for all of us that are in this race, running long and hard, that at 88 years old, you still have a long to-do list, at 89, and so on and so forth. It is so appropriate that we are standing here in a gymnasium, right? We're about to dedicate this thing to a long-distance runner. To all the scholars, brigade, folks who are here, the young people, you heard Mayor Walsh say earlier that everything that Mel King has done is for you, is for all of us. It's so true. I cannot think of a more fitting tribute and characterization of his work because it is for you, it is for all of us. This place, this room that we come to, not just to work out, but to vote. When I lived in the South End, this was the room I came in to cast my vote for what I wanted to see happening at the level of the city, the state, the nation. This is where it happens. Dedicating this room to sweat, to vision, to heart. Everything Mel King has touched, including me, is better for it. For all of our hearts that he has touched, he tells us that it's not about the power of love, but the love of power. You heard Mayor Flynn come and talk to you about the way that he transformed the mayoral race of 1983, and it resonates on and on. 1981, when Mayor wrote The Chain of Change and talked about how each of us is a link in the change, that is all of us. That is a long-distance race. When Mayor Walsh got up and talked about the mentorship of Mel King, that is powerful. That means that his work, his vision, his heart, his sweat continues to flow through this city every day, through this gym, through each of us, through City Hall, through the Commonwealth, through the legislator, and through our hearts. Happy birthday, Mel King. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. I'd like to start off by giving a special shout out to the committee that helped make this celebration happen today, especially Carissa Spud, who had to leave, Karima Scott, Eunice Pinckney, who actually had knee surgery just about a month ago, but Mike Scott, who has been working with the brigade, just absolutely phenomenal. We worked just over a few months, but we got it done. Melvin, thank you for being the person that you are, for always being an advocate for the McKinley schools. As we celebrate your 89th birthday, we are reminded of the importance of your voice and how your lifetime of standing up for your beliefs continues to inspire us. Thank you for being a gift for all of us, and it's your birthday, but you're our gift. We hope we can continue to live up to your legacy of advocating for those in need and helping to give them a voice.
I am Melvin King.
Please join in. I am Mel King. At this time, we would like to present some gifts to Mr. King and his wonderful, marvelous wife, Mrs. King, who also helped make this event possible. Thank you for putting the time in and for taking all of our phone calls and calling us back, Mrs. King. At this time, I would like to reintroduce Mike Scott.
Just really quickly, I want to acknowledge the wonderful artwork done by the Scholars Brigade, but organized and put together by Ari Harbin outside on the wall. Stand up, please, Ari. An incredible artist, very humble. We're so gracious and grateful. Also, when you see the gift, you must acknowledge the brother, Mr. James, in the gray hood, and a brother who couldn't be here with us, Logan O'Keefe. So I want to give it up for Mr. James. We're going to look out for these brothers. All right, brigade, stand up. I want you to come over here and lead us in this. We're going to unveil. Scholars, please come help me out. Mr. James, come stand up. I'm
scared. Why did I sign up for this? Oh my God, I'm scared. Why did I singing happy birthday? Turning y'all off. Oh, for real? For real. Can you stand right next to me? I'm scared. Yeah, I got it. You want me to do it with you? Yes. Okay, I got it. Thank God. I'm scared. You got this.